Soy doctor. Pensamos que hay gérmenes muy malos en la Tierra.
Will Papa get better?
Yeah. You will, yeah.
He won't wake. I kept trying.
Who's going to sleep at night?
I support an entire village of Chiapas. What do you do for Mexico?
What do I do for Mexico?
Hey, take it easy!
There's millions of migrants working on farms in this state. You can't turn around all by yourself.
Tell them to send everything that they have, and then I'll cross over here.
What's wrong, Bob?
Everything is fine, Weston.
If there's something wrong with my eyes,
I can't do my job, and this lab is all that I have. I'm really scared, David. Not dead. More lightning.
Spark a few more fires.
I should rain with some of these storms. That's what we really need.
Shit, look.
Jesus!
What's on your face, man? Those are burning. What the hell's wrong with your face?
Hey, you talking immigration?
Yes, Olivia's back in Mexico with her grandmother and cousins.
That's what she wanted, right?
That's all she had left. You still feel like hitting something? Yeah. You know, sometimes I feel like the world is just pushing me into a corner.
I hear that. I feel like you gotta do whatever you gotta do to get out of it.
Yeah,
But assaulting a federal officer is probably not the best way to go about it.
I know.
Hey, you guys want the name of my therapist? Dr. Lowen? Right over there. Dr. Lowen. Hey, it's Answer.
Hey,
Carlos Serrano. Nice to meet you.
nice to meet you. Alex, thanks for coming up here,
Well,
guys.
your alert to the CDC really got our attention, so we told them we'd take a first-hand look.
Yeah, well, normally I'm dealing with smoke inhalation, fatigue, dehydration, but this, I don't know what the hell to do.
Can I have a look?
Yeah, please. Here.
Those aren't burns, are they?
They all came in with these initial symptoms.
Localized infections, ulcerations, mostly of cuts and scratches. You get pretty dinged up out there, even in the protective gear.
Where are you keeping the sick?
Down at a station house in Benton, about 5 clicks from here.
Y'all like that?
It gets worse. Pneumonia, infection in the lobes of the lungs.
Looks like pulmonary abscesses as well.
Yeah, those are a couple of days old from the first guys who came down with it.
How they doing?
3 have developed septicemia, 19 others are at various stages, and 2 are dead.
You're treating them with?
Mainly antibiotics. We're having a limited success with tetracycline.
So what makes you think it's non-communicable?
5 firefighters carried the stick back to base camp, and they're not showing any symptoms.
It doesn't exactly make you want to break in the song, but it's still a ray of sunshine.
Any thoughts?
Get some samples back for the lab and have a look.
I appreciate the help, guys. The wind changes. We really need all the healthy bodies we can get on the front line.
So how many are out there right now?
Last count I heard was close to 600.
Dr. Lowen?
Low and go.
We've got 3 more down, Doc, in transport.
Make that close to 597.
Look up. Right. Left.
Yeah. You think therapy might be a good idea?
No.
So I got the number for a really good one if you want it.
I'm not comfortable discussing my personal affairs with complete strangers.
How else would you do it?
I'd rather go to confession.
You in a closet with a priest? I don't know. It's like having a paid friend, you know? Somebody who gives you what you need, and then when your hour's up, you don't ever have to see them again if you don't want to. Wait a minute, that's a prostitute.
Is that it?
Yes, blood from all the victims, labeled by name and date of probable exposure.
Do a progressive comparison from latest to earliest infection.
Anything specific I'm looking for?
Well, we have to check for all known viruses, but it's non-communicable, pox-like lesions, so if you want to prioritize, start with pox viruses.
Got it.
I'm not going to force you to do it, but this can't become an issue.
Okay, David, I give you my word, I'll never hit another immigration officer again.
I'm not saying that. I mean, if the guy hits you first, or treats you like that asshole did in California, maybe I need to get back into therapy.
I'll give Rachel a hand.
All right.
David?
Hey, Wes, you want a subscription to Brides magazine?
BC calls. Looks like it's spreading. Take a look at this. It's a map of the burn region.
What am I looking at?
These are the two areas where they think the men were infected.
Pretty far apart. Nobody was infected anywhere in between?
No, two completely distinct areas. It's almost like they were encountering pockets of something.
Shit. Okay, thanks, Wes. Hey, Bob, how'd it go?
Hey, fine.
Fine?
Fine.
Bob?
They don't know yet.
Come on.
I have high intraocular pressure and an increased cup-to-disc ratio. The optic nerve in both eyes is degenerating. It's progressive and irreversible.
Okay.
Stage 3 glaucoma.
Okay.
They're putting me on a cocktail. Eye drops. It won't work. I'm going blind, David. I'm sorry.
Sorry, why? We're not gonna let this happen, Bob.
I was thinking that perhaps I should take a leave of absence.
Okay, stop. All right?
Well, I just don't trust myself anymore, David. What if I drop something? Or
Look, if you're worried about your bench work, okay, we'll get a trained fucking super monkey to do that crap. What I want is your mind, okay? Your thoughts. We're gonna work this through, all right?
Yeah, fine.
Hey,
Mom?
what are you doing here?
I'm on my way up to Algonquin. I was going to call, but I don't have your new numbers.
Yes, you do. I emailed them to you last week.
They're on my cell phone.
You lost another cell phone?
Nice new digs. Very nice.
Yeah. Come on, I'll show you around.
Great. Just what I need. Blackberry spam.
Hey, David, this is my son Craig.
Oh, hey, how's it going?
Good.
You two will have time to visit later. Right now, your mom's got some PCRs to get running. This thing out west is getting out of control. We really need to get on it.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry, I've got to go back to work.
I just stopped by to say I was in town.
Oh, perfect. Mako. This is Mako. Mako, this is Rachel's son, Greg.
Oh,
Show him a good time.
but we'll meet for dinner, right?
Anything but Persian.
It's nice to meet you, Greg.
Actually, it's Craig. I am her son. now.
Sorry. Yeah, so you met the genius who runs this place. Yeah, so what do you have against Persian?
Just food. Mako, I need to look at this blood. I can't find the tech.
I'll do it. Put it there.
15 others to prep.
Sure.
Hi.
Hi.
Carlos Serrano is Rachel's son, Craig.
Nice to meet you.
Same.
Just visiting?
Actually, in transit.
Going where?
Algonquin Park. Starting some aggressive bear behavior up there.
Oh, you're a zoologist.
Oh, doing postgrad studies.
Interesting. I better get back to work.
Right, I was busy.
ASAP, Mako.
Yeah, got it. Hey, do you want to check it out?
Yeah.
Really? I didn't know that bears were by nature aggressive.
Typically they aren't.
So then what's causing
I don't know. It
Could be shrimping habitat causing competition for food. Could be something epidemiological. Could be something genetic, I suppose.
I actually read an article not that long ago written by a team at NCU. And they had identified, I think it was 15 genes that affected aggressive behavior.
Really?
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Here, have a look at this one.
Yeah. So, which of these bacteria is the bad guy?
That's the mystery.
You know what? It is so weird up there. Like, even the fires. Like, I was doing field work over by Bella Coola, and I'm totally taking out too much of your time right now. Could you please tell my mom that I will see her at dinner?
It's fine, you don't have to leave.
No, you're busy. I'll see you soon, though, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Bye.
So these are the images of the firefighter's blood.
Based on 16S ribosomal RNA analysis, it's Burkholderia malae, commonly known as glanders.
I'm not familiar with it.
It's a horse disease, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it.
But also carried by donkeys, mules, almost anything equine.
But extremely rare.
Well, virtually unknown in North America. There's been, what, one reported human case in the last 60 years?
So why the comeback?
First, tell me how to treat it.
Well, it's not easy. Usually recommended treatment is a combination of imipenem and doxycycline.
Okay.
So how does it end up here?
It's usually aerosol transmission between an infected animal and a human.
Horses, mules, there's no ranching up here. What about a wild herd? Infected animal dies, goes up in smoke, firefighters breathe it in, or it infects an population. It's possible.
Maybe.
But
I'm gonna check something out. Bob! Remember I said I needed that super cranium of yours?
David, you don't have to do this.
I need it now.
What do you want?
Dig up everything you can for me on glanders.
Am I looking for anything specific?
Yeah. Weaponization.
Nice to meet you, Dr. Serrano.
Carlos, you too, Craig.
So you're into martial arts?
Yeah, find it's a good way to let off some steam. Just don't get to the gym often enough.
I spar a bit myself.
Oh, really? I'm always looking for a good sparring partner.
Sounds good. So, later.
Yeah, sure.
What'd you find out, Bud?
It's really quite fascinating. Glanders is one of the oldest forms of biological weapon.
Yeah?
In early times, horses infected with it were placed in the enemy's cavalry to destroy it. In World War I,
Bring it up to today, Bud.
well, it's still present in the Third World. There have been rare cases of lab workers and veterinary personnel becoming infected.
What about its use as a weapon?
Well, it's believed that the Soviets used it against the Afghanis in the 1980s.
Any terrorists using it these days?
No confirmed proof, but glanders is a good candidate. It's readily spread, especially in aerosol form, and patients don't develop immunity.
So it can be used on the same population over and over again. Nice.
And because it is so rarely seen, no one has ever bothered to make a vaccine.
You mean there was no money to be made making a vaccine?
That's a cynical conclusion.
What?
Dr. Sandstrom? It's Alex Lowen.
Yeah.
Listen, I got people coming in here with something that isn't glanders.
What are they presenting?
Smaller blisters, black in the center, surrounded by redness and swelling.
You know what you're describing, right?
Yeah, anthrax. What the hell's going on up here?
Dots represent the areas where the firefighters most likely contracted the glanders. The crosses represent the anthrax, both associated with biological weapons. So, what are we looking at? An attack?
well, both can be naturally occurring.
Dr. Lowen acknowledged that the glanders could have come from animals.
And anthrax spores lie dormant in the forest for decades.
Okay, but there's only been one outbreak of glanders in the last 6 decades.
Yeah, now it shows up at the same time as an anthrax outbreak. Doesn't sound very likely. So what other possible explanations are there?
Could be some clandestine germ warfare lab goes up in the fire.
I talked to Homeland Security about that. If there was a lab, it wasn't American or Canadian.
Yeah, but how can you be sure of that?
The American government has been less than truthful. That's before Weston.
Okay, if the Americans have the best germ lab in the world at Fort Egan, why wouldn't they just do it there?
Canada has no germ program.
So they say.
My problem with that is the dispersal pattern. If it was a single lab going up, we'd have a central source. These are all over the place.
More like they've been planted.
Yeah.
But that would mean somebody would have had to have known about the fire.
It was set.
You talking terrorism?
Yeah, Wes, that's exactly what we're talking.
In the forest, it's a massive biological weapon.
Come on, we're gonna make a phone call.
If this is terrorism, the question is how are the pathogens being deployed?
With biological weapons, they usually have an aerosol-based delivery system, but in this case, there's no explosion, no flybys.
The fire is the delivery system.
How's that?
The bacteria gets picked up by the convection of the fire and then carried by the smoke.
So the firefighters come in contact with the air currents. Their wounds become infected?
There, they take off their masks, they inhale the bacteria, it gestates in the lungs, and attacks the pulmonary system.
But why a bunch of firefighters in the middle of nowhere?
Maybe it was a test run. Every infected firefighter is new data.
Should I call Rudelmeyer and give him an update?
Yep.
Can we prove it?
Oh, Jesus. Wes, work with me here. That's what this is all about.
I need some ammo when I call Riddlemeyer.
Okay. If those firefighters do have anthrax, they were exposed to the anthrax in its spore stage. So we need to send somebody to BC to get a sample of it.
Why?
Because you can learn a lot of information about the makers from those spores. Maybe even enough to catch them.
How is that?
Okay. It takes a lot of anthrax to infect a human being. So if you want to use it as a weapon, you've got to grow a lot of anthrax. To do that, you need a growth medium. Now, when you go to extract the wet spores from the medium, you'll often get a lot of clumping problems. The medium leaves a residue on the spores. We might be able to trace the chemical makeup of that medium back to a specific lab. Also, different labs use different chemicals to separate the spores. And once you get the spores out of the medium, you got to dry them off. There's air, freeze drying, and heat. And the spores might show signs of the process used, also pointing back to a specific lab. And lastly, you've got to mill it so that it's small enough to infect the lung. We're looking at a size somewhere underneath 5 microns, okay? Class dismissed.
Long shot, David.
You got a better idea?
No.
We need a spore sample, Wes. I'll bring you back a Sasquatch.
David, there's something else.
What?
The FBI received an anonymous call, something about, a smiley face you might have received.
The FBI's investigating smiley faces now?
They're taking this seriously.
Something like this.
Don't. I will let you know if it is anything to be concerned about.
Okay. Oh, and Wes? Anthrax vaccinations for those firefighters ASAP.
All right. Quick.
Not bad for an old man, eh? 2 out of 3? I better get that.
Okay, if we're gonna find some of these spores, we wanna look right here where you guys likely contracted the anthrax.
That area was already burnt over.
Yeah, well, anthrax is so goddamn tough it can survive even a fire.
I like to look for spores on the infected man's protective gear.
Good idea.
Okay, so what about us?
Well, we need samples, so I need a guide.
I guess that'd be me.
CSIS didn't want to take any chances with a package that was sent to David, so I had it shipped out and x-rayed. What do you make of that?
Well, it's hard to tell what might be in that vial from an X-ray, but,
Room 702?
what time?
I'll be there around 10.
Okay, 10.
What should I do with that? Irradiate it?
I'll take care of it.
Well, that doesn't work.
You're gonna need this.
Oh, okay. Could you
Yeah. You've never been in the front line of a forest fire, have you?
It's a first.
Okay, well, listen, Milwaukee. I know what the fire's doing at all times. As a doctor or a molecular biologist, you're no help to anyone if you get caught in a burnover.
Burnover? Mm.
Yeah, a burnover. Basically, everything is suddenly engulfed in flames, and the thing is, you think the fire's under control 1 second, and the next, you're in hell.
Oh, okay. Avoid burnover. Got it.
Avoid burnover. Yeah, I think you better see this. Yeah, what do you got?
I'm gonna run it again. Let's make sure.
Those samples will make it back fine on their own, you know. You don't have to go.
I'd prefer to put them onto the chopper myself.
All right, I have a cold one waiting for you when you get back.
Right.
What the hell's going on here, Doc?
We don't know yet.
Hey, I got a buddy, Jeremy Williamson. He's not doing too well right now.
I'm sorry to hear that.
What do we tell his wife?
Look, we're working as hard and as fast as we can.
Sure, but if we don't figure this out soon, we're not going to be able to have anyone go close to that fire.
Those samples will make it back fine on their own, you know. You don't have to go.
I'd prefer to put them on the chopper first.
All right, now the gold one waiting for you when you get back.
Right.
Hey,
Hey.
brought you a beer.
Oh, thanks. Where's yours?
I'm taking a break.
Oh,
Mind if I join you?
yeah, have a seat.
So how you doing? You all right?
Yeah. Sort of hit me since you got here.
What's wrong?
You know, we're under attack. Someone's intentionally doing this. Killing people. I mean, what the hell kind of person does something like that?
We'll probably read in the newspaper next week it was some asshole with a hard-on against the color of fire trucks.
It's just that getting caught up in a plan that has nothing to do with you.
I know how you feel. Couldn't have asked for a more beautiful night, though, eh?
Be more beautiful if it rained like this for another 4 days and killed the fire.
Sorry. I'm just making conversation.
So why don't you hit on me?
You want me to?
You're avoiding the question.
I'm taking a break.
For their sake or yours?
You didn't answer my question.
Yes. Let him marry you.
You're not wearing a band.
So you thought about it?
Sometimes it's good to just have a pal.
Yeah. You better answer that.
Yeah. Excuse me. What?
We got the results in the package that was delivered to you.
Yeah,
David, it's smallpox.
that's impossible. You made a mistake.
No mistake.
Fuck, Rachel. Smallpox was eradicated in 1980.
1979, but both the Russian and American military still have stockpiles.
So I guess somebody's got a big, bad security problem, eh?
So who would send it to you?
You want an alphabetical list?
Anthrax and glanders on the west coast and now smallpox on the east. David, I think this is bigger than Norback.
Actually, Rachel, this is exactly why Norback was put together in the first place. Have West put me the first flight home tomorrow morning.
I'm sorry, but as soon as the samples get in, it's going to get even worse around here.
Mom, I'll stop by on the way back from the park.
You promise?
Yes, I promise.
Okay.
I'll sign myself up.
Okay. You be careful, huh?
You too.
Okay. See ya. Wow, that was quick. Yeah. You have a good time? Yeah, I guess so. He didn't come home the other night. You were there to know? I was, yeah.
Craig.
Hi, Dad.
Hi, what brings you here?
It's funny, Mom. Why else would I come here?
Of course. So, how you doing?
Hey, can we not play this game?
I'm just asking how you are.
I know. I'm just telling you. I don't want to talk.
I know you've made your mind up about me, so
Trey.
just give me a reason.
You. Washington, Missy. That's 3. Now go fuck yourself, okay?
Craig?
We've tracked the text message David received.
And?
It was sent from a prepaid cell phone which was purchased from a kiosk in Peoria. The cell phone companies traced the message and it was sent from somewhere just outside Columbus, Ohio.
Well, who's behind this knows David's cell number.
We have security and IT trying to figure out how that happened. It might be as simple as a business card he handed out.
It's our only way of connecting this person, right?
Well, there may no other contact.
Well, I'm sure David won't mind the FBI monitoring his phone and the internet.
He's convinced they already are.
Bob, steps from the fire get here, okay?
Yeah, Rachel's already working on it. Good. Hey, David, I was just thinking while you were gone.
Yeah.
Well, since anthrax stays in its spore stage for so long, for decades, it's still evolving, so its genetic heritage is very clear.
What are you thinking?
Well, perhaps the genetic markers might give us a clue as to its geographic origin.
It's a great idea, Bob. You can make one?
Sure. Have a good meeting.
David? I was just telling Weston how this whole thing has turned into a shitstorm.
What's up?
The Russians are denying that they're the source of the smallpox. However, the CIA for years has been telling us.
I know the argument. Some lab tech sells a smallpox sample for a crate of vodka, right?
David, I think that Mr. Rudemeyer is just expressing Washington's position.
What is Washington's position?
General Samuel at Fort Egan personally assures me that their security has not been compromised.
You expected him to tell you differently?
No. Which is why we want you to determine the source of the virus.
So what's the thinking? That if we determine which lab is the source, we'll be hot on his trail?
It's a reasonable course. Don't you agree?
What about the anthrax and the glanders? Do they think they're related?
It's hard to imagine they're not.
Vaccine. Are we making it?
Samples of the smallpox are en route from both Russia and Fort Egan. I suggest you get ready for their arrival.
You didn't answer my question. Are they making vaccine?
Yes.
I guess the real question is who's going to get it, eh?
May I use your office, Weston?
Yes.
Okay, well, as soon as they finish sequencing the anthrax, we'll see what those DNA markers can tell us.
Thanks, Miko.
How are you feeling?
I'm actually feeling a little better.
Yeah? Okay. Hey, have you noticed that... Oh, God, never mind.
What? Nurse, what?
No, just Wes and Rachel.
What about him?
Well, they're like... Never mind. Sorry about it.
Okay. Thanks. Bye.
Any updates?
3 more glanders infection, 6 more anthrax. 1 didn't make it.
Oh, shit.
There's something else.
Great.
Long-term weather models suggest that high winds may be coming.
No, the wind's going to blow the smoke somewhere.
Where is anyone's guess? Wanted to keep a close eye on it.
Any good news?
Well, the rest of the anthrax vaccine did arrive.
No, that's something. Hang in there. She's very good. Second best virologist I've ever worked with. Wouldn't have hired her if she wasn't.
What exactly is she doing?
She's doing a genetic alignment comparison.
How does that work?
Well, in order to identify the original virus as smallpox, we had to sequence it. 185,000 nucleotides in the smallpox DNA sequence. There are 400 strains of smallpox. Each one of them has been sequenced, and each of those sequences is stored in the World Gene Bank.
So, this is available to the public?
Oh, yeah, no, it's accessible to everyone. Now, each of the strain sequences are slightly different. The nucleotide is in a different position at some point. So what Rachel is doing is lining up the sequence of our guy's strain and comparing it to the sequences of the strains being sent from Russia and the U.S. Genetic alignment comparison. Should be able to tell us where it came from.
And the anthrax in glanders?
Well, there are no military stockpiles of glanders, as you know. So there's no real point taking a look at that. But the anthrax we should be able to trace. Yeah. Just like that AIM strain of anthrax that was sent to Senator Daschle a while back. That was stolen.
From the U.S. Army?
Yeah.
Unproven.
Oh, well, we'll see. We're already running tests on it.
Do you want some?
Herbal?
Since when?
Since I started going to my nutritionist.
Okay.
How's it going?
It's like finding a needle in a haystack. I've got 2 other labs and 4 universities working with me around the clock. And still we're only a third of the way through.
It's impressive nonetheless. That's one of those things you never really know.
You mean take for granted?
Perhaps.
Sensitive? Herbal tea? What, you turning over a new leaf?
Maybe. Maybe too late. But I'm trying.
Craig was here.
Yeah, I know. I saw him. Briefly.
You two should really try and work this out, you know?
You want to have dinner? Just you and me? You still like Persian?
No.
Seeing someone?
What do you want, Carl?
I want you to sign those papers.
I see. Is there some kind of rush?
Missy's pregnant.
You mean Melissa?
Yes.
You knocked up your trainer. Oh. So you were actually fucking her? Oh, Carl, come on. I mean, great body. What's she gonna do at the ranch? Huh? I can just see her doing squats with George and Laura.
You all done?
No? Do you love her?
Just sign the papers.
You know, I'm actually happy for you. Because you got a second chance. Don't blow it with this kid.
Where the forest fires in British Columbia continue to rage out of control. And a 14th firefighter has died fighting the blaze. 26-year-old Chad Hayes, hired only 9 weeks ago, was pronounced dead in the Kelowna hospital with unspecified complications as a result of his duties.
It's not gonna happen, Bob.
It's all right. I can make it work.
I can't. I want you to go home and get some sleep, all right? We got a lot of work to do tomorrow.
Good night, David.
Good night, Bob.
I'll clean up that beaker. Okay.
Holy Mother of God. Smallpox. But here's the thing. It's synthetic.
How can you be sure?
There's a problem with the coding of the strain. Here. At position 72,220, that G should be an A. It's an A in every other strain of smallpox except this one. Now, in the early days of sequencing, it was quite easy to make mistakes in the G regions.
Is it or is it not deadly?
Well, that's a very, very good question, Wes. If it slithers on the ground, has a rattle, and two big fucking fangs. You gonna pick it up to see if it's poisonous?
You found that? One difference in 185,000.
Well, I had a little help from a program that Mako wrote, and it's in the TK gene, which just so happens to be the area of the genome that I used to work on, so I know it by heart. I'm obsessive, remember?
Mm-hmm. How can you be sure it's synthetic?
It's like Rachel says. I mean, when this sequence was entered into the World Gene Bank, it was entered incorrectly. It's a typo. This virus isn't real.
So, what's that? What are we looking at?
Well, think of yourself as an alien, and you find a picture book of horses, and you decide you want to manufacture a horse based on the pictures. Right? The book has everything: palominos, pintos, Arabians. It even has a couple of pictures of unicorns. But you're an alien. You don't know the difference. And with this book as your only reference, they're all real.
So someone built this smallpox genetic code based on a sequence that exists only in cyberspace.
So someone can just build smallpox.
Well, theoretically, the technology is relatively straightforward. I mean, we manufacture genetic material from chemicals all the time. So when a lab needs DNA, it usually just orders it from another lab that specializes in synthesizing it.
Yeah, we do it here at the lab all the time.
It's cheaper and faster. Well, you don't think I'll look at your purchase orders?
Some maniac can just order up smallpox.
No. It's impossible to synthesize DNA as large as the smallpox genome, and there are security measures in place that prevent that from happening.
You can, however, order DNA in smaller sequences, say 200 nucleotides or less.
And there's no security check for that.
No. Even though the smallpox virus is 185,000 nucleotides long, it's made up of combinations of only 4 nucleotides, A, C, T, and G. And those combinations can be found in other viruses, good bacteria, even humans. So you just order up those. You can't police that.
So what then?
Well, as crude as it seems, you just sew them together and wind up with smallpox.
Unbelievable. Okay, anthrax and glanders, could that be synthetic too?
No, both of them are bacteria. They're far more complex organisms than virus.
It'd be like the difference between building a skyscraper and a bird feeder.
Yeah.
So who can pull this off?
Basically, anyone qualified to work in a microbiology lab could theoretically do it. I mean, and that's, 5,000 people in the U.S. alone.
What sort of facilities do they need?
Any university lab would do it.
These guys work recognizable? Like a diamond cut leaves a signature style on a rock that he's working on.
Yeah, no, completely untraceable.
So, how do we go about finding this guy?
We don't have to. He's found us. Time to go public.
He's going to deploy.
It's a show of force.
Maybe that's what the anthrax and the glanders were. A show of force.
Maybe.
Isn't the more important question, where is it going to be deployed?
Oh, I have a feeling we're going to find that out real soon.
He's in the U.S., East Coast, Manhattan.
This is www.censorthenet.org.
Censor the net. Bit late in the day, don't you think?
He managed to synthesize one of the deadliest killers this planet's ever seen from stuff he got off the internet.
Hello? Oh my God.
Rachel?
Where's...
We're still working on it.
What happened?
They were attacked by some bear they were expecting.
Oh, Jesus.
See, the storm's just north of the Queen Charlotte Islands.
Coming ashore?
It's just a matter of time.
Storm cloud of pathogens is going to hit Vancouver.
Population of 2 million, David.
Disaster. Robbie, you're such an who I was looking for.
Who is it?
Guy gets gunned down in cold blood in front of my office.
There are issues of national security in play.
He was executed. Who gave the order?